Because I take a lot of time to get convinced on a position. And once I'm convinced and I have my convictions, you lie back, I won't change my mind.
You're clear in your mind that fight was necessary.
I don't care what anybody says. And me, if you ask me today that if the same situations prevailed, be on the 6th of January 2021 with the election of the speaker, or be it when Joe Wise tried to vote, will I have acted in the same way and manner in which I did? Yes, I will. I will do it 1,000 times over, because I believe it is the right thing. If we had not done that day, by today you are paying e-levy. That unholy illegal tax would have been imposed on us. And so, call me whatever you want to call me, but I swear an oath to serve the people of this country. The overwhelming majority of the people of this country say they are not in favor of it. So why should I allow an illegality to be perpetrated and say because I want to be a gentleman, I want to be seen as a nice guy, I should keep quiet for it to go? That day, there's a reason, God knows why he does it. There's a reason why I was chosen to be the pulling agent. And because I was pulling agent, where I was standing, I could hear what Joe Wise was saying to the clerk. So after the Fomena MP had voted Andrew Siama, then Joe Wise tells the clerk that they should notify Siama to go and rope and come and replace him in the seat. But because of where I was standing, I could hear. Our leadership was a bit off. They wouldn't hear. And that's why I had to start shouting to Muntaka and tell him they are going to switch. We shouldn't accept it. If you elect, I have chosen people to be polling agents when I ran for parliament. And I demand of them to ensure that the ballot is protected at the peril of their lives for myself and the presidential candidate. And that they should ensure that nobody cheats at the polling station. If the NDC has picked me as a polling agent and I'm standing there and I see that the referee is going to wear jersey to come and play the penalty song, and I kept quiet and allowed it to happen, will I have served my party and my country well? Will I be able to sleep at night knowing that I could have stopped that travesty of justice but reneged on my responsibility and slept on my duty? No, that's not Sam George. No, that's not me. And so if I am given the opportunity to be polling agent for the NDC caucus anytime there is an election in parliament, if everything is going according to plan, I would let the process continue. But if there is an attempt by the NPP to circumvent the process, as a polling agent, I will raise the alarm and insist that the process stops. Because that is what we train our polling agents to do at the general election. So why should it be different in parliament?
So this didn't happen at your prompting?
Go watch the videos again. When I turned around and told Muntaka that Joe Wise is leaving the chair and Isiama is moving, and that was when the backbench of the party of the caucus rose and said they will not let Joe Wise, they will not let Andrew Isiama come and sit on the chair. Polling agent, I said that they were going to play some formation, which is not allowed. So should I keep quiet? Should we sit there and allow them circumvent the rules? No, it doesn't work that way. Senate, it doesn't work that way.
But now this, okay, so that's why you did it, because you said if the situations were the same, the circumstances were the same. Now the circumstances, the Supreme Court says that you should actually have allowed him to do that.
The Supreme Court has made their ruling. We've heard them. And like I've said, we've heard them. We are masters of our own rule.
Masters of your own rule?
Yes. Parliament is masters of its own rule. the Supreme Court, when we read the judgment, they said Parliament may proceed to amend our standing orders. As far as I'm concerned, we haven't amended our standing orders.
So it stays the same. The situation has not changed for you.
Because, and that's the position I made when the judgment was given, before even the ruling was made, the reasoning was made available. I did an interview, and people said, hey, I said, look, we've heard, but I'm waiting to see on the floor of the chamber, who will come into the chamber and come and change the standing orders. Because you cannot sit in the judiciary and dictate to us in the legislature what to do. It will happen today, because we don't dictate to the judiciary what they do. We don't tell the Chief Justice how to empanel judges. The executive cannot tell the legislature what to do. That's why the executive is able to bring its own its business, and we are able to reject it and say we don't agree. We will do. It's the same way we cannot. The judiciary cannot tell the president how to run cabinet. And you see, that's a distinction here. And that's why when the speaker said the ruling was absurd and that our president is myopic, I agree with the speaker. Nobody is saying that Parliament is sovereign. Nobody is saying that Parliament is above the law. But there's a principle of separation of powers. Okay. Now, what that principle supposes is that every arm of government is independent of the other and not subservient to the other.
Okay.
So, the executive, in the practice of its work, is not subservient to the legislature or the judiciary. The Speaker of Parliament or Parliament or the Chief Justice and judges cannot tell the President how he conducts cabinet meetings. But what they can do is that the output of cabinets, the output of the executive, can be accepted or rejected. So that's why when cabinet approves a law and brings it to Parliament, Parliament does not tell cabinet how to go about approving that loan. But when the loan document comes to us, we in Parliament can say we don't agree with the terms of the loan, go back and go and renegotiate.
Okay.
But as to how cabinet met, how cabinet went about agreeing on that, it's not our business. We don't go into that space. When government enters into contract or government does anything and the party is aggrieved, that party can go to the judiciary. The judiciary would not go into questioning how government arrived at that decision. The judiciary will question whether the decision government has arrived at is in tandem with the law. But as to how they conduct their business in the executive, how a minister reaches his decision, is not a business of the judiciary. Okay. The same way when it comes to Parliament. When Parliament sits, how we conduct our business is our business. We are masters of our own rule. The output of our conduct of business is legislation that can then go before the judiciary for interpretation. So they can sit and pass judgment on our outputs. Laws we pass, agreements we approve, because that is completed put. Okay. But as to how we do what we do, they can't. Look, I'll give you a typical example. The Constitution is clear, very clear, on quorum and voting in Parliament. 102 and 104 of the Constitution. It says that quorum must be 1/3 of all members of Parliament. Voting must be 1/2 of all members of Parliament. I can tell you 90% of the loan agreements that Parliament has approved that have gone on to do the infrastructures that you've seen in this country under Mahama Akufo-Addo, we can't see any infrastructure. The laws that have been passed in this country from Wallace's time, between 80 to 90% of them, there was no quorum
for voting.
For even meeting, and then there was no quorum for voting. But because Parliament is a master of its own rule, Even when you have less than the 93 or 94 you need for a quorum, or you have less than the 138 you need to take a vote in parliament, there have been times when 10 MPs sitting in the chamber there have approved it. It's law, because we are masters of our own rule. So the judiciary cannot come and dictate to the legislature how to conduct its business. It is the same way when Supreme Court judges are appointed, they come to us for vetting. But we don't dictate to the Judicial Secretary or the Chief Justice how the judges who sit in their courts should decide their matters or rule. No, they don't.
Now in this case, they disagree with one thing, that they are tackling the standing orders that you produce out of the Constitution. And that standing order that says that the deputy speakers cannot vote is inconsistent with Article 104.
Good. Now, you've challenged the standing order. I say I hear. And that's why I'm saying, if you read the judgment, in the judgment, if they had the power, they would have told you that they've amended our standing orders. What did they say in the judgment? They said Parliament may take steps. So even in their judgment, they admit tacitly, and it's the very last paragraph, or last but one paragraph, they admit that the decision and the power to change the standing orders does not rest with them. Procedure. So you can pass your ruling on the output, but when it comes to the procedure, you have no locus to determine for us how we will go about our things.